Hello. Today I'm pretty excited about the start of this new live show, the Unique Camino. And this you, it's because this was one of the big lessons I've took from the Camino. Even though you can hear people talking about the Camino, how exciting it is, how amazing it is, how they find themselves, how they met new amazing people, how they kind of know even better things that they knew but not so much, and some new things that they start knowing about themselves, knowing the limits, knowing so many things, and also feeling, experiencing, learning so many new things as well. And the thing is, there's no just one Camino. So I made this kind of juggle between the words, something that, if you know me, you already know that I love to do. And I came with this idea, the unique Camino, because it's just and it's only yours Camino. There's no way that someone should say to you, you should do the Camino this way or that way. No, it's your way. Well, I don't think that making the Camino by aircraft it's a nice thing, but who knows? maybe maybe this could be one idea. So I finished the Camino. I'm a content creator for a while, since 2015 at least. And one of the things that came in my mind was I need to make a live show. And probably this will go to podcast as well about this, so people can know better the Camino. Some people could share their experiences, why they made the Camino, what do they learn, which difficulties they faced, which challenges, big takeaways they brought from the Camino, hopefully in the backpack, so they can use them in the day by day life as well. And also share, because this is a struggle as well. We see, I'm in some groups, Facebook groups about the Camino, and this is something that I see all the time. Which boots should I pick? Which kind of backpack? So we will be hopefully covering all these things, so we can help you and we can share, and we can somehow make this moment about people to share their thoughts, their ideas, learn from each other about this amazing experience which is making the Camino de Santiago. And today, I because this idea was kind of in my mind, I was in these Facebook groups, always paying attention to people who were sharing things there, posting nice insights. And I don't know, maybe 1 month ago, probably, I saw this nice lady sharing about a new book, a book for children, talk, call it The Cat Who Walked the Camino. And as shameless as I tend to be, I reached out to Kate, asking her, Kate, would you want to be my guest? And she said, of course I do. And I love that. We had, and I need to make this in confidence. We had some meetings before, a couple of meetings before doing the live show, because I wanted to make things clear to Kate. Also, because this is a new format, I wanted to make clear that everything we were in the same page. And this gave me the amazing opportunity to meet all the knowledge, all the how can I say, skills, all the nice artistic sides from Kate, which was really a pleasant surprise. She's waiting down there in the basement as usual. This is so I'm gonna bring Kate to the stage because she's waiting there. I think she already ate the cookie, the glass of water. Kate, thank you so much for being there. It's a pleasure. By the way, amazing background you have there. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me in this first episode. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much. If you don't mind to introduce yourself, and then we will start the conversation.
Well, Marco, thank you so much for having me. I'm amazed. I'm stunned. I didn't know that anybody made videos about the Camino, but I don't know a lot about machines and things like that. So anyway, I am in Western Massachusetts in the United States. Um, I'm in my studio where I paint and play music. Behind me are some of the drawings that are in the book and some of the drawings that aren't in the book. For example, up top here, there are a bunch of butterflies, and the butterflies are actual butterflies of Spain. Um, so, what would you like me to talk about first? How I came to the book, how I came to the Camino? What would be good?
I think I think if you don't mind, Kate, it will be great. And this is something that for me, I'm curious. I think if I can, one of the things that it's kind of my puzzle of personality, it's curiosity. And for me, it's kind of pretty clear the fact that I wanted to do the Camino was on my bucket list for so long ago because I live around 200 kilometers, even less from Santiago de Compostela. I live in a very Christian, Catholic country. Okay, so we grow up with this imaginary of Santiago, the city where well, I don't live in the city. I live in the countryside. But when I go to the city, okay, well, in my my chariot. When I go to the city, there's a place where I usually go to take a coffee, and we see every day tens of pilgrims passing by with their backpacks. We can see by their faces that they are from everywhere or almost everywhere. And the thing is, I really like to know how a American citizen found about this thing about the Camino and crossed the ocean because it's a little okay. It's not kind of like me. I just need to head around 15 minutes, and then I started the Camino at Viana do Castelo. It's pretty easy. Well, it's a simple logistic, if you know what I mean. So, how did you kind of thought about this? Oh, let me do the Camino. Which motivations you had to make the Camino? Because I believe that, and we start the YOunique Camino by this because every you, every me, we have different motivation.
I found out about the Camino from my daughter. After she graduated from college, she moved to Spain for 4 years, and she lived in Santander. And Santander is on the Camino Norte, the Camino of the North, which runs along the Bay of Biscay. And so she told me about the Camino. And the way I came to the book was that we were staying at a bed and breakfast in the Basque Country in a little town called Deba, Deba. And we got there at night and got out of the car. And my daughter said, I haven't seen any kitties. She's all grown up, but she loves kitties. And we hear
Guilty as well.
we hear from the bushes, meow, meow, meow. And this tiny, tiny, tiny kitten jumped into her arms. And later we found out that he had been walking the Camino. He had shown up at this bed and breakfast with some pilgrims. And if you can show the back page of the book, the back cover, that shows my daughter holding.
Okay, just let me try to bring this because okay.
And it tells this while you're looking, it tells the story about how we discovered the cat, and it shows my daughter holding the cat. I think you have that picture. If you don't, that's okay.
Yes, I do. I do. I do. Just wait a minute because I need to go after it.
Okay. I sent a PDF to Marco of the book. So I'm not very good on computers. So I don't want to try to find that picture because I will immediately stop the recording. I guarantee you. I'm just no good at this kind of thing. I can paint, I can write, but Marco is the computer guy.
Oh, it's in a different. Keep talking, Kate.
Okay,
If you
okay.
don't mind, I will go after it.
So anyway,
It's here.
we found out from our hostess that the cat had been walking the Camino with pilgrims, and so we spent a couple of days there. We went out to dinner. We brought him back some steak to eat at night. A nice Italian lady who was also staying there took her scarf outside and wrapped the cat in her scarf so he wouldn't be cold at night. Our hostess insisted that we not bring him inside, which made sense because unfortunately he was, there it is, he was full of fleas. And so here's my daughter Susanna and Don Pedro Pepito. And the little story of how we met him is underneath on the back cover. So my husband named him Don Pedro Pepito and insisted that somebody tell a story. And since my daughter is completely fluent in Spanish, he thought that she should write the story. But she's very busy now teaching Spanish in the United States and has no time for the project. I used to run a music store, but I sold a music store, so now I have more time. So I said, I'll write the story. So that's how it started. So my Camino started in the way that nobody else's Camino started, because I wanted to see what the cat saw on the Camino so I could tell his story in a proper way. So I have not such a good back, so I did not walk 500 miles. I walked parts of the Camino, and I went to the highlights of the Camino. I went to the Cruz de Hierro. I went to the Cathedral of Santo Domingo to see the chickens. I saw all those things, but I must tell you that I took a little tour with a bus with about 7 people, and we went to the highlights of the Camino. And then we walked into Santiago de Compostela and saw the Batafumeiro. And so that's how it started. And I also did a lot of reading about the Camino, of course, for my book. What I discovered is there are lots and lots of books written about the Camino, but they are either tour guides, and keep in mind, fascinating to me, the first tour guide for the Camino was written in 1100 AD. That's almost 1,000 years ago that the first tour guide was written for the Camino. And the next thing that are written about the Camino are how my Camino changed my life, how my Camino helped me find peace in my life. But there were hardly any children's books. So I said, well, this is a niche that I would like to fill. And so I did it partly for my own pleasure, but I also did it to inspire families to take their children on the Camino and show them the sights and the glory of the Camino. And if a family does the Camino, they don't have to do the whole thing. They can go to the cathedral to see the chickens, and that could be a day trip. Now, from the United States, many people walk the Camino in sections. So they'll start at St. John Pied de Port, and they'll walk for 3 days, and then they'll go back to the United States, and then they'll come back to where they left off. So they'll walk the whole Camino over a series of 4 or 5 years or 10 years. Some people, especially the young and able, walk it all the way through. Some people do it on bicycles. In the old days, I didn't see anybody, but in the old days, people used to do it on horseback. So there are, as Marco was saying, you make the Camino your own.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you covered some of the questions I had in mind. So, but let me go back to them, because there's this. I've read the book, okay, and I love the book. And the thing is, would you mind, Kate, if I bring the image about the Santo Domingo
Oh, show anything you want
Cathedral?
from the book.
Okay, so let me share this.
Oh, my
And
chickens! Those are my chickens. Believe it or not,
let
those are white chickens, but A white chicken is not just white, so you have to.
Okay, I'm gonna start this, and then I will switch to the other image, in which is that chicken place within the Cathedral of Santo Domingo de la Calzada. Well, I was reading this book, and then there was this legend about this pilgrim and this lady, and then this judge, and then he was eating a chicken, and then he said, "So if the chicken will sing, I will believe that you're innocent." And thought, wait, I know this legend. This legend resonates with one legend that we have here in Portugal. Close, by coincidence, is a city pretty close to where I live, around 20 minutes driving, Barcelos. We have the roaster of Barcelos, which is one of the most iconic figures from Portugal. Okay, and then I thought, oh my God, how is this possible to have this similarity? I believe that the legend it's just the same, but the villages they adopted, because this we have this the villages adopted that the legend for their own. And the thing is, I thought about this. 10 minutes later, I was meeting with Kate, asking her, Kate, do you know about this? And she said, of course I do. How do you felt? Because as you said, and it's noticeable during the book that you made this investigation. How did you felt? Because for you it's kind of different, because you didn't knew about this legend here in Portugal. Probably you already knew about our Barcelos roaster, but you didn't know. How do you felt uh, about this? How because this I believe this is a nice coincidence. Let me show you the cathedral.
That's the chicken cage that they built for the chickens after the miracle, because they were so happy that they wanted to keep these chickens forever. I didn't find out until about the Portuguese connection till very long after I had illustrated and told the Spanish story. It just came up accidentally, and so I learned about the Spanish story first. It didn't surprise me, but I it's a great story. There's two miracles in there. There's two miracles. One is that the boy is found guilty of robbing this girl who actually framed him. She put the silver candlesticks in his backpack because he wouldn't pay any attention to her, and then he was arrested and he was hung. And his parents went on to Santiago de Compostela, and they came back, and he was still alive. So he said that the Santo Domingo had supported his feet so he could live all those weeks while his parents were gone. So that was the first miracle, was that he lived. And the second miracle was that, like it says here, that boy is no more alive than these roast chickens I'm eating for my Sunday dinner, roared the judge. The birds instantly grew feathers, flew up from the table, and began to sing. So it's two miracles. And then, as I say at the end, every pilgrim stops to see them. As I say in the page before this, chickens in a church? Why would there be chickens in a church? That's ridiculous. But it's irony. It's poetic irony that to have the chickens in the church. And if the rooster crows while you're in the church, it's good luck for your Camino.
Yes, I've seen that as well. And the thing is, Kate, I made some research as well, and I shared this story with a friend of mine, which is also even more than I passionate about the Camino. He made the Camino lots of times. The last one I made heading to Fisterra, it was with him, and he made he didn't knew, but meanwhile he made the investigation, and there's the same legend in Toulouse in France. So, it's a funny story.
It's
But another thing,
pan-European, all across Europe.
yes, yes. I came with this joke. Maybe there was a catalog with legends and miracles, and someone was from village to village. Do you want to pick one? But another thing, and I want to ask you, Kate, because you're an artist, okay? And did you had in mind when you started doing the Camino, or even before that, this could be also really inspirational on your artistic side? Because in the social, personal side, it is always inspirational, the Camino. But on your artistic side, did you had in mind, let me get some inspiration from the Camino to make some new things and to bring new things? Or this is kind of accidental that you came with it? And by the way, let me reinforce, let me stress this idea that the illustrations, they are beautiful. I love, and we will talk about the artistic side and some artistic things in a moment. But do you were kind of deliberate about this, or this was kind of accidental?
Oh no, I thought long hours about these illustrations, and before I make a painting, I have it already finished in my mind, so I just have to execute it. And I did go to the internet for several things. If you see, let's see, how does this work? Right where my finger is, there's a picture. This is very interesting. There's a picture of a man in a wheelchair. Well, one of the Camino books is the story of how this man got a debilitating disease, but he wanted to walk the Camino. So his friend said that he would push him the whole length of the Camino. And there's both a children's book and an adult book about this pair of men, one of whom was completely, he wasn't even sitting up like this man. He was completely flat in the wheelchair. And his friend pushed him the whole length of the Camino. And that was so moving to me, that a friend loved his friend so much that he would push him the whole length of the Camino. In the story about the man in the wheelchair, they reach the bottom of a place where one person can't push this wheelchair up the rocks. And all of a sudden, this fancy guy in a suit and a Mercedes pulls up beside them, jumps out of his car, helps him push him all the way to the top of this mountain, and says, "Have a good one, buen camino," and runs back down the hill, gets in his Mercedes, and drives off. So it's like the Camino brings out the best in people. It really does.
Absolutely, absolutely. Do you want to kind of bring and after this we will go to the artistic side? Do you want to bring any inspirational moment that you lived during the Camino?
I think, let's see, if you could bring up the picture of the Cruz de Hierro.
Okay. Oh, there you go. Oh, and this image. It's amazing.
That's Cruz means cross. De Hierro
Yes.
means of iron.
Yes.
This is a wooden cross, and it's very, very tall. And at the top, there is a cross of iron. It's the highest point on the Camino. It's the holiest point on the Camino. And though it doesn't show it in this painting, which is much simplified, the whole bottom of this pole is covered with messages. Some are in Chinese, some are in Hebrew. And the story is you bring a little pebble or a rock from home, and you put it on this mountain, a little mountain of rocks. And when you leave the pebble from home, you're leaving your cares and your troubles behind. And that was very, very inspirational to me. and also to see the range of people that had been there, leaving messages for each other, prayers, little prayer flags. It was just fantastic. So I made this drawing so that it would be at night, and we've got the cat looking up at the moon from and looking up at the cross.
Amazing. It's it's at the same time. This is a oh, wait. Oh, it's a sweet image, okay? Because I believe that when we see the moon, and when at least I'm talking about myself, we have three elements that usually they tend to inspire in us good feeling. A cat. Okay, I love cats again. Guilty. The moon, the full moon, it's something that has some magic as well, and a cross. And let me make this disclosure: I'm atheist, okay, but I believe that, and we mentioned this when we made our first meetings, that every religion has in the fundamentals, in their roots, the good. So I believe that that's one of the power about this image, is that we have these three elements that somehow makes us feeling good and feeling sweet somehow. Really love. And as let me share this with you and with the audience. This is I made the first in April. Then last at the beginning of October, I made the kind of closing the Camino from Santiago to Fisterra, another amazing journey. But I have in mind doing the French Camino before, or at least till my 50s. Okay, I hope to get 1 month to make that long journey. Okay, I will try to find Don Pepito as well, or at least my Don Pepito. Okay, we will see. Kate, as we mentioned, you are an artist. Okay, and I believe that you have some nice tips to. Okay, let me ask you this before, because
You can ask me anything.
let me ask you this, because I like to say a kind of a joke for art. And the thing is, I have in my family some nice painters. For instance, I have a cousin of mine which does amazing illustrations, amazing paintings. She's an amazing. For instance, she made her master degree, and there he her final work, because at the ending of the master you need to make this kind of final work. She made a 20 over 20. Okay, so she made a book with pop-up images, something really really amazing. But the thing is, believe me, I tried, but I can't draw, I can't paint. I like to say I have two left hands for that. My question, Kate, do you think that this artistic side, it's something that we born with, or that we, even though we are left two left-handed person, if I may, we can become a good painter?
That's a very difficult question. Basically, I think you're born with it. I was painting and drawing. I remember drawings that I made when I was 4 years old. But it's like anything else. If you want to do it enough and you practice, you can become proficient. So I think that the will to do it is probably the strongest element. The wanting to do it.
Well, and I think, I don't know if you knew this. It was, and unfortunately he passed away. I think that, well, I believe that even though he passed away with 200 years, I believe that it was too early, because he was an amazing person. Ken Robinson. He was an Englishman, but he went to the U.S. He he made some research investigation and also he wrote some books about creativity, and there's one called it the element, okay, which stands that kind of we all have our element, and that space where we are. And this goes against that idea, get out of your comfort zone. Like, for instance, Kate, go out of your comfort zone, stop making draws, stop making illustrations, and go doing something else. It doesn't make much sense, I believe. And he kind of says that we should find our element, like, for instance, like you said, and I believe that's the thing. And I believe this applies to myself. Like, besides, don't feel that I'm that skilled about painting and drawing and these kind of things. This was not something that I was feeling passionate about, and I believe that makes a huge difference when we talk about wherever we are talking artistic. It's even more important to feel that I love doing this, because there's this thing that I like to say: if it doesn't hurt you, you're not having fun. Which means, um, if you don't have that will to go that extra mile or those extra 100 miles, probably you are not loving it and you won't be excelling it as well. So I believe. Do you have idea when you realize? And by the way,
Yes.
nobody said to you, Kate, get a real job. Being an artist is not a job.
Well, that's an interesting story. I grew up in Great Falls, Montana, and my father owned a store that he had inherited from his father. And I grew up working in the store. And after I graduated from college, I started a store. So for 30 years, I had the store and I sold musical instruments, stringed instruments. I didn't know anything about things with holes in them like trombones or flutes, but I sold stringed instruments, guitars, banjos, mandolins. And then I don't use the R word, which is retired. I really don't like that word at all, because when I stopped going to the store, then I started playing more music. I started painting like mad. I started traveling. So it just was very natural for me to continue my art. Um, so I don't. Did I answer your question?
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. And the thing is, and because you gave that perspective as well, and this is something that I believe Amazon had in mind. For instance, when they started this influencer program, is kind of bringing people, okay, that are in the field, helping other people to make the right choice for their needs. Because, and this is was something that I had in mind when I created this. When I started to think about this live show, was because this, and I had this conversation with a friend of mine, Danielle, that friend that was also really helpful when I started thinking about doing the Camino. Because, for instance, it's not easy, for instance, to pick, and because also we tend to buy almost everything online. So, for instance, it's not easy to pick the right boots, because the right boots for me, probably they are not the right boots for you, Kate. And the thing is also, for instance, when we go to the shop, we get the boots, they feel comfortable, we like the design. Yes, we buy shoes also by the design. But when we need to walk, for instance, 10 miles a day or 15 miles a day, it's different than that feeling we had at the shop when
That's
we
true.
tried the first time the boots. So one of the things I wanted to bring as well with this show was the chance to help people with this. So I believe that, for instance, if I was a guitar player or a musician and I go and I headed to your store asking you about something, it would be really helpful that you were a musician, as I am, to kind of guide me in a better way about my choice, right?
I
And
did
I
that
believe that you
many
felt that.
years. Yeah, many years I did that.
Do you want to share some nice story about it?
Well, one that comes to mind is that 10% of the people in the world are left-handed. Most of musical instruments are made for right-handed people, especially stringed instruments.
Yes.
So when a complete beginner would come in, they would say, I'm left-handed, I want to play a left-handed guitar. And I would say, well, okay, maybe you want to play a left-handed guitar, but let's look at it this way. On the guitar, the left hand does most of the work because you've got 6 strings across and you've got 20 frets. So you've got way more possibilities on the left hand than, say, you do on the right hand, because all the right hand does is either it picks one string or it strums all the strings. So the right hand is doing something very simple. So I would say to them, try it right-handed for 2 reasons. The one I just gave you about the dexterity is more in the left hand. Also, since there aren't very many left-handed instruments, you're going to be struggling all your life to find an instrument that's left-handed that you like the sound of and you like the way it plays. Well, I'd say 9 out of 10 people or 8 out of 10 people I would convince to play right-handed, even if they were left-handed. Some of them just couldn't do it. But that's the kind of advice that I would give to people, knowing their physical situation and knowing the market. So that's one thing that I did over the years was help people try to find what's going to work best for them, both for them and in terms of the world.
Pretty nice, because and I've seen this story as well today, or well, it was today. I think a psychiatrist from the Brazil, a young psychiatrist, she was saying that usually we tend to kind of, when there's a struggle, a difficulty, we tend to avoid and go pick the other path. But she said, no, maybe we should think, okay, maybe how long does this last? Not so much. So let's keep doing it, or how can we overcome? So I think this is a nice way to see things, because indeed, being a left-handed uh, in music and in strings instruments, it's not kind of good somehow, but nice perspective that you brought, so people could because the thing is, as you said, there's no much instruments made for left-handed people, so probably you won't be liking. And again, as usual, the sound coming out of an instrument, it's something really personal as well, and the the possibilities would be really narrowed if we only picked left-handed instruments. Nice, well done, Kate. But one of the things that I believe it's not a problem for left-handed people, and I can say this confidently, because one of the most amazing painters from the whole time was left-handed. Do you know who it was?
I
Well,
do. Lenny.
Da Vinci.
Leonardo da Vinci.
Good one. And by the way, this was not talked before this. Okay, this was I just came up with this right now, and yes, he was a left-handed, and the thing is, he made amazing paintings. And
Well, the thing about the left-handedness shows up in his drawings
yes,
because,
yeah,
because shading is done with crosshatch lines, okay? And right-handed people go this way, and all of Da Vinci's go this way. They go the other way. So the first thing you notice when you find an old drawing, if you're trying to prove that it's a real Da Vinci, is you look at the direction of the crosshatching.
oh my god, this is why I like so much to talk with you, Kate, because you always give me that insight, that further that deep knowledge that, because sometimes we just look at things and okay, they are like they are because that's how they are. But no, Kate usually she has the explanation for everything. so, so Kate, do you want to talk about your and okay, I need to ask this also. I don't know how do you call that product that you use for your paintings? Because here in Portugal, it's aguarela. That
Watercolor.
okay, yes, it's
Okay,
what you're using.
I'm gonna show you some things because a lot of people who even want to paint a little bit. This is a Winsor Newton watercolor set. It's looking big as I push it forward, but it's actually, it fits in the palm of my hand. It doesn't weigh anything. It's quite small. And so if you want to paint on the Camino, I mean, people are always concerned about how much weight they're carrying. This is
Yes, yes.
tiny. The paper book that I would take is tiny, and the brush is tiny. But this is a fabulous setup. Okay, so this is what you see. If you open it up.
Let me put yourself in full screen so people can.
Oh, okay. This top becomes the bucket that you put your water in.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Then this is the container for water. Then this is your palette. So this is where
oh my God.
So this is where you mix your colors. You have it flat. And then here are your paints. And there's not in here, but there's also a little sponge that fits in here. So this is an amazing piece of engineering.
Absolutely. I'm amazed.
So if you want to paint on the Camino, you don't need to worry about carrying 500 pounds of oil paints or anything. All you need is this little Winsor Newton paint set. Now there are two of them, depending on the grade of paint that's in the pans. And one of them costs a lot more than the other one does, but you can choose either an inexpensive one or an inexpensive one, depending on the quality of the paint here. Mm-hmm. So I would encourage people that think, oh, well, it's going to weigh too much. It's going to take too much room. I don't want to paint on the Camino. It's really easy. You just, here's everything, your water bucket. So that's one thing I wanted to share. And
I'm amazed with that.
So, for example,
okay,
let's see. Here's one of the paintings I did on the Camino.
Oh my dear God.
Anyway.
Love that colors. The colors for me, they are amazing.
So you can keep in your travel journal. This is my travel journal with pictures. Oh, this is interesting right here. Here's the Cruz de Hierro. So let's see, this is all backwards. So here's the cross, the bottom of the cross, mm-hmm. and all the people that are going there. And then this is at the bottom, and these are all the signs that have been posted onto the cross.
This is kind of your journey book?
Yes, I keep one every time I go.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And the thing is, let me share this. We can have secrets. Kate. So when you sent the products list that you wanted to cover during this live show, I kind of added them without looking further what they were. But the thing, when you brought that little box, I thought, okay, wait, what is this? And then you start opening, and I saw, oh my God, this is crazy. Because I've seen he was doing kind of illustrations like sketching. This man from, I think he was from Japan. One of the things I do on Instagram is following the hashtag Camino de Santiago. And sometimes we see these posts by artistic people that do amazing things. And the I was mesmerized when I saw his paintings. Maybe later I can share with you his Instagram profile, because he does amazing sketchy. I, please don't get me wrong, because I'm not an an specialist on this. Okay, don't throw me rocks because I may doing this not the right way. But the thing is, I was completely, because he made, for instance, the draw from the cathedral. Okay, only black and whoa. It was a really whoa how amazing he made. And I believe that, at least, if I wouldn't did the Camino already, I would say that just the cathedral and the whole Obradoiro Praça would be an amazing inspiration for artists, and mainly, for instance, for uh, painters and this sort of things. But doing the Camino, you will find that, let me say this: the whole Camino is a work of art. With those, I know that you met at least the cat, but I met cows, donkeys, sheeps, cats, dogs, horses, so crows. I've seen lots of crows.
Yeah.
Also, some kind of eagles or falcons. I don't know, because
Yeah.
these, for me, they are a little bit harder for me to uh, kind of distinct, because they have they are similar. But the thing is, there's this, and for instance, I had this encounter with a little donkey. And for instance, Daniel, who was with me, he told me that some weeks before he went to a farm which had donkeys, and he said that when was the right way time to approach a donkey, because he has the ears. Okay, so if the ears are facing to the front, it means that he's friendly. If the ears they are kind of turned to the back, it means that he's aware, he's kind of worried, or maybe not so in a friendly mood. Okay, so I was kind of, let me see now. Okay, you turned the ears to the front. I'm close to you. Okay, they are turning back. Let's go back as well. So this was kind of a lesson. Are you willing to make the Camino again to get more inspiration, Kate?
Am I going to do it again?
Yes.
I don't know. I'd love to.
Okay, maybe I could be a little bit how can I say, biased by this recommendation. Who knows? But
I would like
making,
to, if I do it again, I would like to do the Camino Portuguese.
yes, that's what I was about to recommend. And the thing is, okay, there's more than two. Okay, but the ones that uh, go closer to where I live are the Coastal Camino and the Central Camino. Okay, both of them. There's a church in the central, close to, it is between Ponte de Lima and Tui, call it Rubiães. Probably you already heard about this name, because it's a kind of uh, a well-known spot in the Camino. They have this Romanic church, which is amazing. I believe that that could be an amazing uh, picture for you to make something about it. But I will share it with you later, the image, because for sure it's easy to find it in the internet. So I will share this with you as well. So let's go to one of the last chapters of this conversation. And as I
Okay.
mentioned, one of the things that I wanted to cover, because this is kind of um, a, a question that it's made every, in every 5 questions. This is questioned 4 times. Which boots should I wear? And also, and I'm glad that you brought it, socks. Because let me share this with you, Kate. When I made my first Camino, my feet, they finished like, there's a saying here in Portugal, when something goes really bad, smashed by the end, they look like the head of a poor.
Well, I don't have any socks to show you, but the socks that I like are called Darn Tough, and they're made in Vermont. And they make several different grades of socks, but those are the ones I like, and I've seen people mention them also on many Camino sites. So Darn Tough. And also, since I worked in Vermont for 35 years, I'm prejudiced towards Vermont, which is the next state north of where I am right now.
Oh.
For boots, I'm going to show you. The boots that I'm completely in love with are called Vasque. Basque in Spanish, you wouldn't pronounce the V, you'd pronounce it B, but Vasque, Vasque. And these are the Vasque boots that I wore in the Camino. They're completely worn out. They're starting to fall apart, but I still wear them. They're still comfortable. I use them for gardening, and they're at least 10 years old. So this week, in celebration, I bought myself a new pair.
Oh, nice.
And I wore these on a long walk yesterday. These are...
Oh, they look really... They have
brand
amazing...
new
Okay,
so they've got a vibrant sole. So they still have, grass and dirt from yesterday on them, but almost waterproof. And the thing, people wear all kinds of shoes on the Camino, but for me, and for me, I really insist on having ankle support. So some people will wear a low shoe, but the Camino could be pavement, it could be cement, it could be grass, and this particular Vibram sole gives you really good balance on uneven terrain. And for walking that many miles, I insist on ankle support.
Okay, let me show mine.
Okay.
So I got these ones, which are in the carousel as well. These are from Salomon, that well-known brand.
That's a good
As
brand,
you can
yeah.
see, my ankle protection goes even higher than yours. Why? Because I'm 6'2", so I'm a little bit tall. for a Portuguese, I'm a little bit even a little bit taller. Okay, and that's one of the reasons. And these ones that they are yours light as well?
Oh, they're featherweight.
Okay, perfect. These ones,
they're very, very light.
They may seem a little bit kind of heavy, but no, they are less than 700 grams each. Okay, having in mind these are boots, they are okay. And as you said, for me, the ankle protection, it's pretty important. Okay, the ankle, it's somehow a fragile joint. Every joint, they are fragile. Okay, like knees, ankles, the oh my god, shoulders, because we want mobility, so we kind of give up on robust. So the thing is, one of the reasons is that the main reason why I pick boots is exactly the ankle protection. There's another one which is not that important, but at some point would be, because those little stones, they tend to kind of jump to inside the shoes. So if the entrance it's a little bit higher, this will make their journey a little bit difficult to to achieve. And at some point, it's a little bit annoying having those little grains kind of bothering us. That's another reason why I picked the boots. Okay, because yes. Did you bought this question? Did you bought the usual size you tend to use, or did you bought a little bit bigger than usual?
I tried 2 pairs of these boots on when I bought them, and one pair was just decidedly too small, and these ones were just perfect. I have a little bit of a wide foot, and there's just lots and lots of tightness around the ankle, but a lot of room in the toe. They're not long for me, but there's a lot of movement, and when it gets really hot and sweaty, your feet swell, and so you want to have a boot that's a little bit big to account for the fact that you're going to have more moisture in your feet because of the temperature.
Yes, absolutely. Let me share this. Both in both Caminos, by the end, I had my we tend to call them here like rocks. Okay, mainly the right foot. It was, I don't know, maybe one size bigger than when I started. And if we don't kind of be cautious about it, if we buy the usual size, or if it is to kind of to narrow the shoe, it doesn't give you room for the foot to swell, and this will cause friction with the sock and the shoe, and I'm afraid that you will get blisters. Did you had blisters, Kate?
Say that again?
Did you had blisters during the Camino?
No.
Thankfully.
I was, but if it was cool out, I would wear a thicker sock. And if it was really hot out, I would wear a thinner sock.
Yes, that's good, because this was one of, and the thing is about the Camino, uh, is that we do this usually. It's a long journey. For instance, 4 days, 5 days, and when we go hike, like Saturday afternoon, Sunday morning, whatever, it's just one moment. So if we have one blister, no problem. We have the whole week to recover and to treat it. During the Camino, we don't have that time, okay, because it's day after day and long walks. So have that in mind. And as Kate said, it's important to be cautious about the socks, okay, because if the foot sweats too much, this probably will cause you blisters.
Right.
It's good also to switch socks from times to times if you feel that they are a little bit wet. And I don't know if you saw it, Kate, but I've seen lots of people drying their clothes in the backpack, like them hanging to get
Right.
dry.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things that I've been, again. We there's, if I had a big takeaway about the Camino, the first one, this one, I had kind of things were well better covered, is that the best way for me to prepare to the Camino was by doing the Camino, because there are so many lessons that you learn by doing it, by feeling it, that there's there's the only way. I believe, like, you're a mother, the best way for you to prepare as a mother was being a mother. So, Kate, we are about to finish. If I was someone willing to do the Camino, which motivations would you say to me, like, you should do this the Camino because of this?
I can't pin it down. It's all just so fabulous. It's just the terrain changes. You experience all different kinds of ground, from grape vineyards to the meseta, which is flat and dry and goes forever, and the wind just blows through you. And then you get to the Green Mountains of Galicia, and you the up and the down. It's a whole lifetime condensed into one walk, and you get to meet people from all over the world. So you'll meet somebody on Wednesday, and then you won't see them again until the next Sunday. But they're your friend because you had lunch with them in one town, and then you'll have dinner with them 5 days later in the other town at a different hostel, alberg. So it's the experience of a lifetime. It really is.
Absolutely. Wanna share one idea why this is the unique and only Camino for you?
Oh, well, the problem is there are so many different Caminos, the Camino Norte, the Camino Portuguese, the Camino Frances. I've read books where the Camino starts in England or it starts in Switzerland, and you make it your Camino. And that's why it's unique. And you have to be careful not to let anybody discourage you because you're going to do it one way and they're going to do it another way. You have to do it in terms of your time and what your body will allow you to do.
Absolutely. And your budget as well. Because sometimes the budget is also a problem.
Yes.
But yes, I think, and that's, this was, I don't know about you, but this is something like, for instance, I like to come with new live shows and this sort of things. And this was one of the struggles. Which title should I bring to this new live show? And I was thinking about this, the Camino, it's your Camino. It's just you and yourself. So there's no way that someone should say to you, you should wear shoes, not boots. You should wear a backpack with 1,000 kilos, or you should not wear a backpack. No, it's your choice. It's your Camino. It's about you. Because the thing is, and I had this conversation with Danielle the other day as well, because sometimes people tend to get a little bit upset when we see people which are young and they look healthy not wearing the big backpack and just a little backpack, and they go, and we know that the the main backpack was carried by a taxi. But the thing is, by the end, we go to our homes, and I will get my experience. I will get my my learnings, my reflections, and the other people will get their own things. And we should be aware of this, because sometimes we tend to look too much to the others without knowing that, okay, I overcome this all these struggles. Because, for instance, the first one, I said, by the end of the Camino, I didn't had blisters on my feet. I had a little bit of the feet on my blisters, because
Right.
it was crazy. And this was because I had this all these blisters because I didn't make it properly. Okay, I was not cautious enough to avoid them. But at the same time, I have that feeling that even though I had all those blisters, I it was painful. Yes, it was, because when you carry, I'm 220 pounds. I had my backpack was around maybe 40 pounds as well. So you may think, okay, it was a kind of a heavy wagon that I was carrying, but the thing is, I made it to the end, even though I had all these challenges in the Camino. So we should think about this: which challenges we are facing, which challenges we overcome during the Camino, because our, it's our and our only. So that's what, for instance, for you, I believe that for you would be difficult to carry my backpack on the Camino, because But the thing is, having in mind your specific condition, having just having the will to cross the ocean to make it, I believe it's a big win for you. Okay, so that's the thing. I really respect people that do the Camino in a respectful way. They embrace, okay, I have this difficulty, so I can't do it the way that most of the people are doing it, if this means something. So you have my respect, and you have even more my respect, because you came with this lovely book. By the way, it's, let me highlight it in the carousel again, The Cat Who Made the Camino. I'm gonna throw you a little challenge, okay?
Okay.
Maybe translating the book to Spanish, at least.
Well, I have definitely thought about it, and I have somebody in mind to do it. I have to see how the book goes in English, because it was a very expensive proposition for me to do it. I'm self-published. As most Camino books are self-published. For some reason, the big publishers discount the Camino books. I don't know why, but that will be a matter of, again, time and money. If I translate it into Spanish, then I'm going to have to completely reformat the book and rearrange the pictures. And I'll also lose the glossary at the end, so which is kind of a nice little part of the book. But we'll see. I'm thinking of it.
Okay, I can promise you, if you will translate the book to Spanish, we can make another live show promoting it, and we will be speaking Spanish the whole time.
Not moving. No bueno. So you speak both Portuguese and Spanish and English?
Yes, and I speak a little bit of French as well.
Ah,
Because for me,
moi aussi.
for Portuguese people, it's kind of, for most of us, and because I live close to the border, it's even more usual that we tend to speak Spanish. Also, because of professional reasons, I've been dealing with Spanish people from Spain and also from the Spanish-speaking countries in the Americas. So that my I'm kind of fluent in Spanish too.
Excellent. Well, as
Yes,
they say, buen camino.
yes, buen camino. So, Kate, where can people find you?
I'm on Facebook, Kate Spencer, and I don't understand where can they find me?
Yes, if you have a website.
I do, katespencerart.com. Very
Okay,
simple.
perfect. Maybe if you don't, okay, if you can send me the link to
Okay.
the URL of your website, I will post it in the posts on social media so people can find you as well. So, Kate, time flies.
Thank you so much. This has been so much fun.
Hope
Maybe
next.
I'll come to Portugal sometime and we can walk the Camino Portuguese.
Okay, I would be glad, because the thing is, if both central and coastal they go close to where I live, okay, so if you do the coastal, you will go through Viana do Castelo for sure. So I will invite you to have a cafe in that cafe that usually I see there tens of pilgrims each time. If you do the central, you will pass through Ponta de Lima, which is an amazing village. Okay, a little tiny village, but amazing. Okay, with nice food as well. But I'm not telling you this.
Okay. I'll keep it a secret.
So, looking forward to meet you in person. And thank you so much, Kate. We
Thank
will be
you.
in touch in
Okay.
the offline world, okay? And let me know if there's any update about the book, so we can arrange to have another live show.
Okay. Thank
Okay,
you.
we have Kathy here, Katie Thompson. So wonderful, great to see you, my friend Kate. So proud of her. You should.
She's a good friend of mine. She's a good
Oh,
friend of
nice.
mine.
Nice, nice. And thank you so much, Katie, for stopping by. It was a pleasure. Muito obrigado from
Okay.
Portugal. So, thank you so much to all of you who stopped by today. By the way, you can see the book on Amazon. You just need to go to the video description. Okay, you will see the link marketing.live, and then you will find this live show. Okay, and the book is highlighted right now. If you are watching the record, the book is there as well in the carousel at the bottom of the video. Okay, and you can see more about the book, and hopefully buy it, because it's actually a pretty cute. Good. I'm not sure if my sister was watching this live show, because she writes for kids as well, and I'm pretty sure that she will love this book too. The thing is,
Well, you can
she
think about Christmas. You can think about a Christmas present.
yes, absolutely, yes, nice idea, pretty nice. And just let me share this with you, Kate,
Yes.
because this is a funny story. When I made the Camino first time, I was passing by this. It's another well-known spot in the Camino, Redondela. It's an amazing village in Spain, and I was seeing this family, and this reminded me about these families of ducks. where you have the father ducks in front, and then you have these little tiny ducks in the back. And they were, I think they were four children, okay, same age, okay, maybe 1 2 years different between each one of them. And as usual, because I saw that they were pilgrims, and I said bon camino and buen camino, and the father replied to me with that American accent, buen camino. And I said, okay, you're American, yes, I am. So as you can see, there's people with their kids doing the Camino, which is pretty
Excellent.
nice. So time to say goodbye. Goodbye,
Okay.
Kate.
Okay. Bye-bye. Thank you
Goodbye
again.
to all of you, and see you soon. Hopefully, I will be doing this show a couple of, maybe within 1 month again. Okay?
Okay.
Bye bye.
That's good.
See you
Bye-bye.
later.